Hello students, as of now I have finished explanation of the chapter. I have also summarized the chapter. In my last class I discussed answers to 6 questions. Now in this video I am going to discuss answers to rest of the questions and other exercises of the chapter. So let us begin. Now look at question number 7. Okay. What do these statements tell us about Anne Frank as a person? Okay. So we have to go through the statements given below and we have to write answers according to statements. So what they are disclosing about Anne Frank, what type of person she was. Okay, so let us read out first statement. We don't seem to be able to get any closer, and that's the problem. Maybe it's my fault that we don't confide in each other. So what does this statement tells us about Anne Frank or Anne Frank? Okay. So as this statement shows that Annie does not confide. Okay, she does not confide in people very easily, as she said that we don't seem to be able to get any closer, and that's the problem. Maybe it's my fault that we don't confide in each other. So that this shows that Annie does not confide in people very easily. It is difficult for her to make personal relations where she could share what's going on in her mind. So it was very difficult for her to make personal relations where she could share what was going on in her mind. Okay, look at the second one. Now look at the second one. I don't want to jot down the facts in this diary the way most people would, but I want the diary to be my friend. So what does this statement tells about Anne Frank? So this statement indicates that Annie does not have a close friend she could confide in. She was lonely despite having family and friends. Thus, she wanted the diary to be her only true friend. As she said, I don't want to jot down the fact in this diary the way most people would, but I want the diary to be my friend. So she wanted to diary to be her friend, as she was having no true friend with whom she could share her secrets. Okay, whom she could confide in. Now third one. Margot went to Holland in December. Margot went to Holland in December and I followed in February, when I was plunked down on the table as a birthday present for Margot. So what does this statement refers? What does this statement tell us about Anne Frank? So this statement tells us that this indicates the love between two sisters. On migration, Annie was the last one to be brought to Holland, and it was done on birthday of her elder sister to surprise her. So it shows the lovable relationship, the love between two sisters. Okay. Fourth one. If you ask me, there are so many dummies that about a quarter of the class should not be kept back, but teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on earth. So what does this statement refer about Annie's personality? What does Annie mean by this statement? Here Annie feels that there are many weak students in the class who should be detained. Almost 1/4 of the class did not deserve promotion, but the teacher's decision could not be predicted. Teachers are the most unpredictable creature on earth. That's why she used this statement. Next one, look at the next one. Fifth one. Anyone could ramble on and leave big spaces between the words, but the trick was to come up with convincing arguments to prove the necessity of talking. So with this statement, what message she wants to convey? What does she mean by this statement, or what does this statement indicate? Anyone could write senseless stuff while leaving big gaps in order to fill up a number of pages and submit the assignment easily, as many students do. Even during examination, they only try to fill the pages by writing senseless stuff. So, but Annie wanted to give such arguments which could prove that it was necessary for her to talk. She wanted to write sensible stuff. She wanted to write logically. Okay. So let us discuss now the language, thinking about language, the grammatical part of the chapter. Look at the following words: headmistress, long awaited, homework, notebook, stiff baked, outburst. These words are compound words. They are made up of two or more words. Compound words can be noun, headmistress, homework, notebook, outburst, adjective, long awaited, stiff baked, verbs, sleepwalk, babysit. So now when any noun or adjective or verbs, they are formed with two words, two different words, then they are known as when by joining two different words we make a single word. Such words are called compound words. Okay. Now on the basis of what we have learnt, let us match the compound words under A with their meanings under B. Okay. Heartbreaking. So now what is the meaning of heartbreaking? Find out. Heartbreaking, what does heartbreaking mean? Find out. Yes, producing great sadness. Okay, heartbreaking means producing great sadness. So this one is answer of the first one. So now homesick. Yes, what does homesick mean? What does homesick mean? Yes, very good. Homesick mean missing home and family very much. This is number 2. Here it is number 1. Blockhead. So what does blockhead mean? Yes? Yes? What does blockhead mean? Yes, an informal word which means a very stupid person. This is the third one. Law abiding. Law abiding mean? What does law abiding mean? Yes, very good. Law abiding means obeying and respecting the law. So this is fourth one. Overdue. So what does overdue mean? What does overdue mean? Yes, do something to an excessive degree. This is fifth one. Do something to an excessive degree. Very good. Daydream. What does daydream mean? Yes? Yes. Think about pleasant things. Sorry. Yes. Think about pleasant things, forgetting about the present. So this is answer to 6 1. Okay. Now break down. So what does break down mean? Yes, an occasion when vehicles, machines stop working. So that is called breakdown. Good. Output. What does output mean? Yes, output mean something produced by a person, machine or organization. This is the 8th one. This is the 8th one. Okay, students. So you need not to write it in your notebook. So simply do it in your book. Okay. Yes. Now phrasal verb. A phrasal verb is a verb followed by a preposition or an adverb. Its meaning is often different from the meanings of its part. A phrasal verb is a verb which is followed by a preposition or an adverb. So its meaning is totally different from the root verb. For example, look on, look upon, look into, etc. Compare the meaning of the verbs get on and run away in in A and B below. You can easily guess their meanings in A, but in B they are special. They have special meanings. So let us go through A and B. Look at it. She got on at Agra when the bus stopped for breakfast. So here got on means boarded. He boarded the bus when the bus was at Agra. So he boarded. Got on means here boarded. Okay. Devanand ran away from home when he was a teenager. So run away, left the home. Okay, that is ran away. So look at B. She was eager to get on in life. So here get on means succeed. So students, you can see that here got on is the past form of the verb. In present form it is get on. So here get on means board on the bus, and here get on means succeed. Run away, in the same way run away. So here run away means left, and here the visitor run away with the match. Here run away means won easily. Okay. So here there are two phrasal verbs, get on and run away, but they have been used in different way and into different sentences. So thus phrasal verb sometimes can have more than one meanings. So let us go through the exercises which have been given here on the basis of this. Some phrasal verbs have three parts of a verb followed by an adverb and a preposition. For example, so in the above examples we have seen that a verb and a preposition, or a verb and an adverb make a phrasal verb, but sometimes some phrasal verbs have three parts: a verb followed by an adverb and a preposition. Example, our car ran out of petrol just outside the city limits. Here you can see that run out of. So here run verb, out it is adverb, and of preposition. Okay. The government wants to reach out to the people with this new campaign. So here you can see reach out to, reach verb, out adverb, to prepositions. Okay. So some phrasal verbs have three parts: a verb and an adverb and a preposition. The text you have just read has the number of phrasal verbs commonly used in English. Look up the following in the dictionary for their meanings under the entry of the italicized word. Okay. So you have to find out the meaning of these phrasal verbs. So plunge, plunge in. So what does plunge in? What does plunge in mean? So this homework will be done by you. So please find out the meaning and do it on your own, but if you want to hint you, so I can hint you here a little bit. So plunge in means, in the chapter also we have seen that, means to go straight to the topic. In the chapter it means to go straight to the topic. Okay. Kept back, so kept back in the chapter means not prompted. Ramble on, so what does ramble on mean in the chapter? So speak or write without focus, that is ramble on. So get along with, so what does get along with in the chapter? Have a good relationship with. Okay, so these 4 phrases we have discussed. Now find the sentences in the lesson that have a phrasal verbs given below. Match them with their meanings. You have already found out the meanings of some of them. So are their meanings the same as that of their parts? So note that 2 parts of a phrasal verb may occur separate in the text. So now we have to match their meaning. Okay, what you have found out. So in dictionary you may find different meaning. Okay, so I have just told you the meaning for which they have used in this chapter, in this particular chapter. Okay, so find out all the meanings in the dictionary and mention in your fair notebook. Okay, so now let us do this exercise. Plunge in. So we have just discussed what does plunge in mean. Yes, so it is go straight. This is the first one. Go straight to the topic. Kept back. So kept back, I have just told you. Yes, not prompted. This is the second one. Okay. Move up. So what does move up mean? Go to the next grade. Yes, this is the third one. Okay, sorry, third one. This is the third one. Now what is the next one? Ramble on. So I have just told you. Yes, speak or write without focus. This is fourth one, ramble on. Okay, next, get along with. I have just told you. Yes, very good. Have a good relationship with. So get along with means have a good relationship with. Sixth one, calm down. So what does calm down means? Yes, make them or remain quiet. This is the sixth one. Stay in. Yes, stay indoors. So as this time you people are staying, people are not moving out because of lockdown, because of COVID-19. So it is indoors. So you are staying indoors. So stay indoors, stay safe. Okay. So this is the answer of sixth one. Okay. Make up for. Make up for means yes, compensate. Okay, this is eighth one. Now hand in means yes, hand in means this is okay, give an assignment, homework to a person in authority, the teacher. Okay beta. So let us move on to the next exercise. So now we are going to go through idioms. So as you must have heard the name of idioms, they are also like phrases. Idioms also like phrases. They are also a group of words, and they have a fixed meaning. They have a particular meaning, and they always come in proper order, a fixed order. We cannot change the orders of words. Okay, so idiom are groups of words with a fixed order and a particular meaning, different from the meaning of each of their words put together. So as you have seen in phrasal verbs, if we separate the words, then they are having different meaning. But if any preposition or adverb comes after them, it changes their meaning. So in the same way here, if we put separately all the words which have been used in a phrase, so they have a different meaning. But if they come collectively, if they come together, if they put together, they have a different meaning. Phrasal verbs can also be idioms. They are said to be idiomatic when their meaning is unpredictable. For example, do you know what it means to meet one's match in English? It means to meet someone who is as good as oneself. So, meet one's match means to meet someone who is as good as oneself or even better in some skill or quality. So, do you know what it means to let the cat out of the bag? Can you guess? What does it mean? Yes? Yes, let the cat out of the bag. So let the matter be revealed. Let the matter go viral. Okay? Wait for the result. Wait for the conclusion. Okay? So here are a few sentences from the text which have idiomatic expressions. Can you say what each means? You might want to consult a dictionary first. Okay, so what is the meaning of these phrases? Okay, and also I have discussed meanings to all these phrases while explaining. So let once again go through it. Our entire class is quacking in its boots. So what does it mean? What does quacking in its boots mean? Yes, shaking with fear and nervousness. Here, quacking in its boots means shaking with fear and nervousness. Very good. Until then, second one, until then, we keep telling each other not to lose heart. So, what does not to lose heart? Yes, not to lose heart means not to lose hope. Not to lose hope. Third one. Mr. Keesing was annoyed with me for ages because I talked so much. So what does ages means here? What does ages mean here? What does for ages mean here? Very good. Since a long time. For ages means since a long time. Next. Mr. Keesing was trying to play a joke on me with this ridiculous subject, but I had make sure I would make sure the joke was on him. So here what does it mean? the joke was on him. So he was outwitted by her. So he was, here the joke was on him means Mr. Keesing was outwitted by Annie Frank. Okay. Here are a few more idiomatic expressions that occur in the text. Try to use them in sentences of your own. So you have to use the given idiomatic expressions in sentences of your own. Okay. Caught my eye, laugh ourselves silly, he had enough, and the fourth one, can't bring myself to. So all you have to use in your own sentence in your notebook. Okay. So in this class we have discussed till here, and in next class I will discuss the rest exercises of this chapter, and the very important exercises based on grammar have been given. So I want you to be go through them very seriously and must practice them in your notebook. So what we have learnt in grammar in this chapter. So first we have learnt about phrasal verb and idioms. Okay. So must go through them carefully and use these words here, these words in your sentences. Okay. Also use these words in your sentences. Okay. It's your homework. So must do all the homeworks in your notebook. Okay. So thank you students for watching. In my next video I will finish this chapter and I will start the next poem, Amanda. Okay. Thank you once again.